Monday's here, and I've done a little bit more thinning, went and collected all the data I haven't been able to get for a week, and then came out here and transplanted a couple of plants. And I transplanted 2 on row 2. Where's he at? 1 on row 3, and then that little guy right there on row 4. That's all I've done so far. I just picked out the plants that that didn't need to be wherever they were doubled up, and I moved them, and all the other plants that have some possibility for outward expansion, like say that one, which can expand over here, I've left, as assurance. That one I just didn't want to move yet. I pulled one there, and brought them down to there and there. And as you can see, they've been moved for about 5 minutes and they're already wilting. So that does not bode well. I'm just about to go water them, but just filling you in on that, I did that. And like I said before, I'm about 80% sure everything I transplant will die. The other 20%, I think something might live. That's not a 20% chance that I think everything will live. So we'll see how that goes. They were going to get pulled up anyway, so it's worth the experiment. Alrighty, sorry about that. I had to go help the meter man. He was trying to go shut the power off at the lot we're purchasing next door to the Hutchinson house, and he didn't know how to get into that one, so I had to go give him directions. But I'm just over here watering the transplants, giving them about just a hair under half a gallon, I guess about 3 pints each, giving them quarter can. I'm just going back and forth and dumping. So I may have to do this every day. In fact, I probably am going to have to do this every day. I might even have to do it once on the way in, once on the way out. And they might bounce back, or they'll just die. And we shall see. Don't think giving them any more water than what I've just done is going to help in any way. So we'll leave it at that. Alright, back out here in the afternoon. It's about 5:45. So we're checking on the transplanted cotton. And as I could have expected, they look pretty miserable. But, that's to be expected for a taproot dependent plant. When you rip all the lateral roots off, pulling it out of the ground, and then transplant it just by stuffing it in the ground. So, and they have so much leaf surface area that they will probably be totally crispy and dead in the next 2 days. So that will give me some data, however, and data is invaluable because that's how science works. So I'll be able to say with 100% certainty that you can't transplant these things unless, you've got an entire pot full of soil and you're just moving the entire plant. You can't just pull them and stick them. And if that's the case, that means I can just pull plants willy-nilly however I feel like, and I don't have to feel bad about it. Alright, so it's been 2 days since the transplantation attempt. That was on Monday the 17th, and today is Wednesday the 19th of June. And this is row 2, and this is my row 2 transplant. And as you can see, it's actually stood back up, and it's not totally dried out, which is promising. And here's the 2-3 transplant, and as you can see, there's actually some perkiness on these new leaves, although it does look pretty dry all around. Back over here on row 4, this is the one in the row 4-3 space that got transplanted. It's real crispy looking. I don't have a lot of hope for that. That looks pretty dead to me. However, most surprisingly, over here, the row 3-7 transplant actually looks like it's put out new growth. It bent, and then it bent back, and while it may not recover all of those leaves, just like that one over there at 2-2, this one looks like it might have taken. And even if it ends up stunted, that's a 50% success rate with me taking essentially zero precautions with the transplant. I just grabbed the plant and ripped it out of the ground, and I didn't even bother about the lateral roots. So that's promising that without much babying at all, because I didn't water the plants last night, and I didn't water them this morning, and I'm just about to water them now. If I can get a 50% transplant success rate, then I might be able to repopulate all of these spaces. Oh yeah, and FYI, look at the auxiliary bud growth on these things just in the last 2 days. Like, I might actually see squares by the end of the month, which would be insane to me, because I was hoping just for plants not to die. But that's true blue lateral growth there with a leaf. This one even has 2. And there's some over there, and some over there. Look at them things. And some over there, and some over there. That's really surprising to me. I thought the cotton was really taking a serious hit from this drought, but it could just be that they were not growing. They were just sitting here photosynthesizing and storing up carbohydrates, and then as soon as they got some water, they just put the growth into overdrive. Because this does not seem like 2 weeks worth of growth to me. I was looking at the data today, and I thought these plants about doubled in size in the last 2 weeks or so, but my data says they've only gone up an inch in height, which does not seem correct to me. But these plants have filled out. Like, look at the size of this dang leaf. It's the size of my hand almost. They were not that big before. They're like the biggest leaf I was seeing before was that big. So this is super promising. Good news all around. Let's just hope it keeps raining and we don't get any hurricanes right before harvest season, because that would suck. Well, that's my update for today. Alrighty, apologies. This is probably going to get real windy real quick. But I'm just out here checking on the transplants. As you can see, the one at 4 is pretty much dead to the wind. And over here, the one at 3.7 looks pretty good, actually, all things considered. It's senescing leaves like it needs to be doing. It's even abscising them as well. And it seems to be opening up the new growth up there, so that's a good sign. And over here at the ones at 2.3 and 2.2, the one at 2.2 actually looks really good. It looks like it's established in some way, shape, and form. And this one over here at 2.3 has senesced and abscised pretty much all of its older leaves, which is exactly what it needs to be doing. And it looks to be recovering adequately. So I might actually have 75% success on this transplantation, which is spectacular. So I think with a little bit of added care and maybe the addition of some mulch, I might be able to improve that even higher. We'll see. It is Friday now, and as you can see, 2.2 and 2.3, the transplants are still alive. And over here we have 3.7, who looks to be doing really well. All of these have abscised their older leaves, as you can see. Let's see if this one will come off. That one's still attached, so that one's got one old leaf left to abscise. But other than that, all of the transplanted cottons have senesced and abscised their older leaves. They yellowed them and dropped them off, which means they pulled out all of their nutrients and sucked all the water out of them before dropping them. They look a bit wilty compared to everything else, but that's understandable. Their lateral root system is currently regrowing. I'm just about to water them again. And here is, which this camera would focus, is 4.3. and I'm going to say it's dead. Actually, the whole top dried up and came off. So that was a failure. That's a success. That's a success. And that's a success. At least so far. So this is Friday and we're going into Monday. So that will be the true test. Just about to water them. So I would say it's not only feasible, but actually rather simple to transplant Sea Island cotton. And as I said before, with a little bit more precautions, maybe say taking up a bit of the dirt with the plant, which really isn't possible when I've got plants growing next to each other, I can transplant the cotton. And that'll let me fill in some of these voids up here. So I'm excited to see how high of a success rate I can get out of this. So we've got 75% just now, and 4-3 was probably the worst looking plant. Actually, 2 was probably the worst looking plant, and it went to the worst place, and it's still hanging on. So I'll call this a success. Tom out.